are in day 5. So yesterday we have seen how to use the attribute, how to create an attribute, and what are the different type of attributes we have, and also how to create a configuration flow rule, nothing but the UI design for the configuration. And also we have seen what are the different nodes and how to host it on the home page. These are the things that we covered yesterday. So before we begin the session, did anyone try any of the concepts that have been covered so far? If so, if you have any doubts, so please flash the screen. It is always welcome from my end to discuss that prior start of the session, and then we can jump into the today's class. So other, like, what are the other attributes and how we can link those attributes, and we shall see how we can like hide any attribute from the layout, from the config layout, and what are the different other rules and what is their use, we shall see using the simple conditions. So once this basic configuration part is done, then I will start the BML, okay, and I'll cover all the functions, and then again we shall jump into the configuration. Okay, so meanwhile, like today I think I'm going to cover the rules, all the rules in configuration which are essential, all the rules in the sense which are essential and which you can go through without technical knowledge on BML. I'm going to cover those rules which are simply drag and drop kind of thing. Then once you are okay with this, you can practice. So next 2 sessions I'll be covering the basic BML functionalities. Okay, so now let me jump into the today's session. So yesterday we have hosted one model, that is refrigerator, on the homepage screen. So now what I'm going to do is, yesterday if you remember, I created 2 nodes and created one primary start node and another start node, and I showed you how to use it. So today I'm just going to have only one primary start and end node, inside which I'll be showing you what are the different rules that we can use, okay, and why do we use, we shall see.
Mohan, I have a doubt. So depends upon the rule, we can write the uh, no pages like. So in case if user selected this one, we can show the second page, or else it shows this create or it shows only the one page like that.
Yes, that is because that is with respect to this configuration flow conditions. Yesterday, thanks for bringing up that. So yesterday we initially added condition, thereafter we removed it, right? So we shall see now.
Yeah.
I'm not deleting this rule. Instead, I'm making this inactive. So you can inactive the rule instead of deleting it. Okay, so that the rule doesn't get fired. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just making this as primary start and end node. Here what the condition that I'm going to pick up is, if the user group contains, like, so basically this since the superuser is part of multiple groups, okay, this would work. Whereas for normal, like my login or Ram's login, we shall see by proxying it. Just I'm opening a library to display how many groups this user is part of. I'm just adding an attribute. This thing I'll explain. this particular user is part of these many groups, it is showing up. Okay, so these are all variable names, not the display names or the label names of the groups. So what we did, if the user group contains financial user, then only this should work. This financial user something, I think this particular login that I'm using. So financial user is also there. So this should work for super user, and then for other thing it should not work. Let's see. Now what happens, like if you have multiple nodes and you are managing those nodes technically, like at any point of time you should be having one start node and end node. Okay, Ra? So if you like modified all these start nodes, and even if you have modified the end node and there is some transitional node or only start node, then what happens? Yesterday we have come across a scenario where it is showing up error, right? That you have reached the end without configuration flow.
Ah,
Similar problem will be occurring. So while placing the condition, we should ensure that there would be a start and end node, or at least a primary start and end node kind of thing. If every condition is like getting, if every condition is not satisfied, then that will not be open to any user. That we should ensure. And you can see one more thing. Basically, as a developer, like Ram knows and Ikshita knows, other people, whoever is a new joinee, so make like you should be having one skill, that is observation skill. Okay, see, this is the instance in the URL. This is a configuration. You can see the product family, product line, and product model. Again, it is showing up what is the segment and all. So, and the rule also it will show you. So please observe carefully that whenever you are working with any of the configuration flows, and if you don't understand where it is available, you can just simply go to this URL and you will see the path at which it is stored. Okay. So now this is showing up perfectly. Now let me proxy as my login. I did not add any of the group sales groups, right? So if I proxy with my login, let's see if I'm able to see that or not. See, since I'm not able to access that because my group doesn't have the financial user, what it showed, error in configuration. Right now, let me add group to my login. Hope you have observed the difference carefully. Did it answer your question, Ram?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
But my question is, it depends upon the condition. We can show the multiple pages or not.
Yes, we can show. That is what
Okay.
I'm mentioning. Like if you have three or four the configuration flows, you have created three or four configuration flows, and everywhere you are mentioning some condition. Okay, at any point of time, like you may have four people, A, B, C, D, and A, B, C, D is part of group one, group two, group three. Like that, you have three groups and four people. So at any point of time, what are the condition you are putting to the configuration? Like usually, unless and until it is explicitly mentioned that none of the condition is satisfied, means it is okay to show this error. But usually in real-time scenario, what happens? You are supposed to show this configuration page to any of the four users. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Right? So while you are mentioning the conditions to the four configuration flow rules also, you should ensure like four configuration flow rule, for example, one is primary start node, other is start node. Okay. Third thing is transitional node, and last thing is end node. So it means always at any point of time you should be having either start node and end node, or primary start node and end node, or primary start node, transition node, end node. This combination should work out. If not, if the end node is not coming, then you won't be seeing a button called create transaction. So to answer your question, you can mention the conditions, but in real-time scenario, it is always either of these. Like one primary start node and end node should be active, or start node and end node should be active, or start transitional node and end node should be active, or primary start node, transitional node, and end node should be active. It cannot be like only primary start node is satisfying the condition, other three are not satisfying the condition. In the sense, it is not going to work even though that shows up to the user. There is nothing used for it. You got my point?
Okay. And I have another doubt. Suppose it's just end node as a create transaction. Okay.
Mm.
And there is a two pages. One page is just start node, another page is end node. Okay. So in
Mm.
the start node depends upon the user selection. We have to use the end node. In case if user not selected that option, we won't show that end node. So that transaction page should be definitely in the end node, right? So will it be come to the first page, the start node
That
which we
doesn't come. That doesn't come. That is what I was telling. You should always ensure either primary start and end node should be there, or only end node should be there, because end node is a pace which like system understands that. Let me go to the flow once and I'll show you. Let me process. See here, any primary row, like end node, start and end node, primary start and end node. How many we have with the end node combination? Three, right?
yeah, three.
So either of these three should be always active to the user. If if any of these not active to the user, you cannot add it to the transaction. That means your purpose of showing up the configuration is not served.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah. Until I practice this session,
Yeah. That's what I mentioned yesterday, because the start node end node is little tricky to understand, and once you get some hands on, right, you will get to know how CPQ behaves.
okay.
Now let me go back to the model configuration, and you are seeing here. what I'm going to do today is I'll quickly cover up the basic rules and I'll give you homework for the weekend. So we just practice this. We have done configuration flow rule. Next, what we are going to see is constraint. Okay, there is one more rule called constraint. I will explain what constraint is. Basically, if you want, if do you want extended warranty? If I select this and I want to remove one of these options, like if I want extended warranty, maybe Samsung is not going to provide me extended warranty, for example. In such case, when the moment user checks selects this option, then this Samsung should either be deactivated, should be removed, or should be marked as masked. Anything can happen. To do such thing, there is a rule by name constraint. Okay, I will create and show you. Constraint company on extended warranty selection. So it is always recommended to have a meaningful display name and the variable name, because in real time scenario the number of rules will be very large in volume. It sometimes it can be of 100 or 1000 or 500 also. So to clearly identify something, then you should be having a very meaningful thing, the constraint company. So there might be multiple options, multiple things on constraint company. So you should be using this. Okay, now I'm going to use simple condition. Do you want extended warranty? If it is equals true, then what I'm going to do, which company do you want? So I closed it down. So while we create any rule, okay, you will see again the status and edit starter and nets. This is common to what I have told you in configuration flow rule. But this Ajax enabled will show you how, what difference it is going to make. Okay, simple condition. Someone could you go on mute, please? I don't want Samsung to be displayed. Okay, what I'm doing, only do not allow selected values, and here I'm selecting remote and clicking on add and back. I did not make Ajax enabled as no. So we'll show you what happens when we don't click on Ajax enabled as S, and whether it is recommended to make it Ajax enabled or not. We shall see. Uh, Let me deploy this. Click on start over. Even though I have selected the extended warranty, it did not do anything. The moment I click on update, what happened? The rule has been triggered. This is what Ajax does. Okay, Ajax means asynchronous JavaScript and XML enabled. Nothing but any change happens uh, either on the attribute level or at the rule level, anything, then the rule gets automatically fired instead of user clicking on some action to do so. Not only action, I'll show. Now I have clicked. Nothing is happening. The moment I click on update, it is working. So now what I will show, there are two ways to make this happen. One is, instead of going to the instead of going to the attribute and make it, I mean, instead of going to the rule and make it Ajax enabled, you also have one option, that is one property, that is auto update at the attribute level. Okay, I'm clicking making this on auto update. I hope everyone is maintaining a book beside you and uh, noting down whatever the new terms you are listening during the class. See what happened? Now, even though I did not click on anything, I made the attribute in which I am making the selection as auto update, the property. It has made the change that I have asked for. Okay, I'll do one more change and I'll show you. Again, I'm going back to the attribute and removing the auto update. Going to the rule instead, make I have made this rule as Ajax enabled. Okay, now I'm just making this as removed. I have shown you right. Disabled. I'll just change the option to disabled. I did not. I have like disabled the auto property of auto update at the attribute level, and I have made the rule as Ajax enabled. So the moment the rule is made Ajax enabled, what is going to happen is any change that user is going to do, it will identify from the inputs basically. This constraint rule is having one input. So what system always does when we make any rule as Ajax enabled, it is on an alert mode to identify what are the changes happening on the attribute level, and if everything is like if any condition is matched. So in real time scenario, we won't be using simple only one attribute. We will be using multiple combination of attributes, and you will be using or combination and combination and or combination, like that you will have to use multiple attributes. So all such scenarios, when you make this as Ajax enabled, it will be an alert mode, and whenever that condition gets satisfied, immediately the rule gets triggered. Is it clear what I have explained about constraint?
So here the action values to constraint allow, right? So you mentioned
Hmm.
the one attribute called which company do you want? It is
Hmm.
not the attribute, right?
It is attribute only.
Attribute.
This is the attribute, no?
Oh, sorry, sorry. Okay. I think actually it's cutting the page, so I'm unable to view
Yeah, yeah,
fully.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Let me change that configuration flow rule. I thought someone would do exercise and then modify this, but none of none of them worked out. So I'll modify.
Okay.
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 So constraint rule, it is working fine, right? So here we will be using the attribute, and here in the action type also you have standard and table lookup. So what we are going to do today is we will see the basic rules. Okay, constraint rule, recommendation rule, recommended items rule, configuration flow rule, hiding rule. These once these rules are done and you make some progress with the practice, then again we shall come back after 2 or 3 days to understand the other things. Okay. So for now, just understand that there is a rule called constraint, which is used to make some selections. Here, what happens, I will show you. Now I'm going to add capacity. This is not only for an menu option. You can also see. Since this is an so what I'm telling the system is capacity. If it is greater than 10, then please show message to the user, please enter than less than 10. Okay, let me show. Because don't think that constraint only works on menu attribute. It works on every kind of attribute. Okay, on all the type of attributes it will work, and it will. Now what I'm doing is the 10. What happened? It is showing up to the user, please enter than less than, please enter less than 10. Right? So constraint, in constraint rule we can call attributes in the simple type, and we also can give our own customized error warning message to the user based on the condition. Hope it is clear, and I expect someone to practice this, and you should be showing to me on Monday. So whatever the classes that we have covered so far, if someone flashes your screen and shows up, then only I can proceed further. Okay. So this is with respect to the constraint rule. Let me go to the other rules. Now hiding attributes. So what I'm telling to the system is the moment user selects true, then make this capacity hide. Okay, hide from the UI. Capacity attribute should be hidden. So I'm making this rule also as enable. One thing what we should do is just remember this. Okay, in our uh, second version of learning the configuration, I will explain why I have removed this attribute from the constraint rule. Okay, please make a note someone. I'll explain. I have removed the capacity from the constraint before hiding it. I have written a hiding rule to hide the capacity attribute based on that Boolean selection. So what happened? The moment I clicked on, do you want extended warranty? Capacity has been hidden. You have observed it, right?
Yes.
So this hiding rule is going to be simple, but there is one uh, what we should say. There is one trick here. So if you are applying constraint on any of the hidden attribute, then we will face one error. Okay, I will show that error now. That how to eliminate that error we shall see after like 3 days. Okay. 3 days basically after our BML training. Now let me deploy again and I'll show you what the error is. Sorry, I did not click on deploy. Could someone read out this error for me?
Constraint defined of following hidden attribute capacity, which means
What is the error?
it's applying the constraint rule on the hidden attribute capacity.
So what happens is whenever you have two rules, one is here hiding rule and other is constraint rule, then system gets confused because you are applying two things on the same. You can apply multiple constraint like multiple rules on an attribute which is visible, but if the attribute is not visible to the system, then this is going to like affect. So then the internal constraint error occurs. So there is a method to like eliminate this. I'll explain in the second version of our configuration. So please make a note that we will get error which is nothing but internal constraint error, which occurs when there is a hiding and constraint rule or working on same attribute at the same point of time. Clear, right?
Yes, Mohan.
Oh, no. I'm just going to remove this.
ఈ ఈమెయిల్ మనకు పెట్టిన బాగుంది సచిన్ మెసేజ్ చేస్తాను ఎందుకంటే ఈ బెన్న లేదు బెన్నకి వెళ్ళలేదని చెప్పి మాకు కన్ఫర్మేషన్ బెన్న అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఆఫీస్ పెట్టడం మెయిల్ స్టేటస్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ ఆఫీస్ పెడితే మనకు రిప్లైస్ తను చదవలేదు.
Now we shall see one more rule. Before that, let me create a couple of attributes, extra attributes, because the three attributes alone doesn't serve the purpose. So what we shall do is how many doors do you require? Like single door, double door, four rows, four doors. Like these days, fridges are coming in such big sizes. Now. So I'm just having one integer. Four doors. So what I'm going to do is just I'm leaving this as a text field to show. Uh, Homework for you is like try to create the similar model and have the color option as color attribute as is menu, and you can write one rule called recommendation rule. Now I will show how we can do it. What I'm going to do is there is a rule called recommendation rule. Recommendation rule. Why I'm stressing is there is one more rule, recommended items rule. Okay, there are two type of rules: recommendation and the other is recommended items. So don't get confused. There is a huge difference between both of them. I'll explain that recommended items also next to this. So this recommendation rule basically, if you want to suggest something to the user instead of his uh, intervention. Suppose someone has come, like you have gone to a mobile store. Someone comes to you and asks, "Sir, how may I assist you?" If you say that I'm looking for an iPhone like Pro Max series something, then they will take you to the display and they will explain right features. Even though you have not expected that some person should come and guide you, they have come and they show you some recommendations. Sir, this is what the latest model is, or if you purchase this, you will also get in addition to this some insurance like extra casing, earpods, or like headset, something they will mention. Similar thing if you want to show to the user, like in again we shall go back to our example of Amazon. Okay, whenever you purchase something on Amazon, it will show you that users would frequently buy together these, right? Or if you select some option blue color, so blue color goes well with this uh, design, something it will recommend. Whether you follow that recommendation or not doesn't matter, but it will like recommend you, right? Similarly, when you want to recommend something, okay, then this is what is going to happen. Recommendation rule to suggest color. I'm just using double, okay, two. So if there is any two rule, so for each color, what I'm going to do is, so in when you are going with two door fridge, then the red color suits well to you, is what my recommendation to the user. Okay, red. And here you can observe set type as none, set and forced set. So I'm just leaving this as a none. I'll show you how it matters between none and set and forced set. Okay, just observe carefully. I'm making this as just enabled. Again, clicking on update and back. So now carefully observe. I'll show you one more thing. Initially the rule doesn't run. Why it is not running also, I'll explain. I'm clicking on start over. Let me do one more thing. I'll place one attribute. One more change also I'm doing. I have added those attributes into the recommendation rule input. Uh, in the recommendation rule input, I'm just taking bill ID, and I'm showing you uh, one more thing. What is the, did we take anything in default for a bill ID? Nothing, right? So bill ID attribute, I'm going here. We did not take anything default. That means what is the default thing? It will be always empty. Am I correct, Ram?
Yes.
Okay. So now I'm going to deploy the rule, uh, deploy this and see whether it is running or not. I'm not seeing any change on this fridge color. Okay. The reason is I have taken an input called bill ID, and obviously the value of it would be empty because we did not mention anything as default data, whereas that is not available on this layout. So please remember, whenever you configure anything, whenever you try to create any rules or uh, either the recommendation rule, constraint rule, or hiding rule, if you are taking any of them, any of the attribute as an input, and if that attribute doesn't lie here on the layout, then the rule doesn't get triggered. So here one more question. See, that bill ID may not be required for the user, like whoever is coming here, uh, he need not see the bill ID. Then what can we do? We should hide the bill ID from the user. What can we do? Just now we have seen one thing. What is that? Yeah, but here a catch. So if you hide that attribute using the hiding rule, what happens is it will remove that attribute completely from the like configuration flow. Then what happens? You cannot trigger that attribute, like you cannot trigger that rule. I'll show that. So observe carefully. Today the class may extend for 10 more minutes. Okay? Please bear with me because this is going to be a crucial thing whenever uh, the configuration is in place. Okay. Bajaj Electronics I have picked up list of models. Now I'm going to refrigerator. First I'll create one hiding rule. Okay, and show you. I'm just taking one hiding attributes. That for before that, let me put that bill ID on the layout. See, the bill ID is showing up to the user, and the moment I select value as 2, the fridge color it is showing as red, but it is not filling here. The reason is in the recommendation rule, in the set type, I have picked up none. Okay, so if you pick up none as an option, what system does is it will just show what is the value that you are recommending to the user. Now, two more things that we are going to discuss now. I'll have to hide this bill ID attribute. If I use an hiding rule, let's see what happens. And is there any other option apart from hiding rule? We are going to see now. So I want this to be always hidden. So I'm not going to mention any condition. Again, I redeploy. Now let me start over. Okay. So this is working fine even with the without the bill ID, right? And like instead of creating multiple hidden roles, what else can we do? We can, I will explain now. See, now before we go to the rule, see, when you if you right click on your screen, you will see one menu that is inspect. This will this menu thing is normally browser thing, not related to CPQ. Okay, so it will show you the HTML version of the website that you are looking at here. Bill. What happened? The bill ID, the style display none has been applied. So it means whenever you write any hiding rule to that particular attribute, it is going to apply a CSS. The system is going to do that by default. The display is none, but still it is available on the UI in the HTML version. So please understand that if there is any attribute available in the HTML version, this is going to work. And now going to that rule again. I'm going to make it inactive. And there is one more way, like instead of writing those many hiding rules, what we can do is we can directly hide it at the configuration flow rule. If you click on this, if you see on the attribute, there is a gear icon. Click on it. You will see certain options. Go to the behavior properties. Click on hide. It hides from the UI, but it is still visible. This is similar to writing the hiding rule, but still the attribute is visible to the user. I mean, not to the user, to the system. While it takes any attribute as an input, system takes it from the HTML, like HTML tag. Okay, to make you understand, that is why I'm using the HTML thing. Okay, just don't get confused what is HTML if you don't understand what HTML is. So I have you have seen I have inactivated the rule, but it's, and made it hidden at the configuration flow. Okay, so click on deploy. The bill ID rule is not going to work. Okay, now let me click on start over once again. Still it is working. So if I this is uh, this is still hidden, but it is still accessible. Okay, so here you can see display none is applied. So instead of hiding any attribute, and if you want to use that attribute, is if it is not at all required to the user, but still you are using it as an input, then you can hide it from the configuration flow.
Yes.
Yes.